Morning. Thank you for joining. This is a collaboration between the PTSA and Syosset High School, so we would like to thank the high school faculty for their time and cooperation. This presentation is going to be about Naviance, and it is being led by the guidance department. Please remember to keep yourself muted so that everyone can hear the presenters. If you have questions, please put them in the chat. The presentation is being recorded and we will be available to view within a few days. Thank you.
Thank you. This is actually our last PTSA guidance liaison for the year. We have 4 of these. I'd like to welcome everyone. We as a department really enjoy these. I remember going back as a guidance counselor when I was a counselor presenting at these, and now have the opportunity to work collaboratively with the department and the PTA to talk about our developmental school counseling program. And what we ended with this particular discussion and presentation is on our Naviance program from Ms. Krepitz and Ms. Say, which I'll introduce in a moment. We'll go over everything that we do with our developmental school counseling program with this. But as always, I just would like to provide some updates from the last time we met in November. It was late November, which feels like 15 years ago, but that was the last time we met. We had our college planning workshop on December 2nd, where the guidance counselors in person facilitated, almost it's like an open house kind of setting, where guidance counselors in classrooms with their parents and students of their caseload and have a PowerPoint presentation on whatever the topic is. This one happened to be kicking off the college planning workshop, and junior planning meetings have begun. So if you have not as a junior parent, made a junior appointment with your child's guidance counselor to review the college process leading into next year, please do so. And also, quick plug, we have our college night coming up March 31st, where we'll have well over 100 schools attending. More information on that as we go. I'm going to talk a little bit about programming now, though, because we're in the middle of our program planning process, which actually was one of the topics we discussed in a timely fashion through PTSA Guidance Liaison. So just to give you an idea of where we start, there's a lot of work. Not only do we work externally with our students and the parents, but internally as a building and with the middle schools, we work internally in terms of helping with the transition for our 8th and 9th grade students. So one of the things that we do, and I've talked about this on here a few times, is our articulation meetings that we have with the middle schools. So I will facilitate the meeting we have, and we have representatives from both middle schools, and central office comes, and each department, it's all the guidance counselors. It's the guidance counselors. It's the administration from those buildings. And what we do is we review each department by department. Each department leader reviews the 8th and 9th grade courses and updates leading into programming, which is perfect timing for everything in terms of the middle school schedule and our schedule with it. So that's one thing that we do. A little bit after that, what we did this last year, but what we had this year was the week we returned from Thanksgiving break, we had HPT and Southfield students visit our elective courses. Counselors attended from the middle schools, walking the students, and they were student-led tours, but with the guidance counselors from the middle school. And they got the opportunity to go into each elective classroom program, hear from the teachers, and look, we could talk about the electives, counselors, the teachers, to the students. But the fact that they get to come to our school and they get the opportunity to witness the courses, see everything with their own eyes, is such a significant help in them making decisions in terms of what electives that they want to take or think about taking later on, which kind of ties into what we're talking about today with Naviance. What we did this year that was great, the high school guidance counselors ended each program. So after all the students were completed going to their different classrooms for the couple of hours they were here, we did a sum-up meeting with the guidance counselors, kind of going over a timeline, what to expect for the students as a way to kind of process the day in terms of what they saw. So that was really great. And then that led into the middle school program planning, but I'll talk quickly about us. So program planning week was for us the week after that, where guidance counselors visited English classrooms, 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. They didn't visit senior classrooms because those students are graduating, so there was no program planning to talk about. But we visited the 9th, 10th, and 11th grade classrooms to review program planning with them and what to expect, and when they would be meeting individually with them. Each counselor gets an individual meeting to review program planning. And then the guidance counselors met with their students from December 15th to January 16th individually through different classrooms. They came down and they helped with program planning. So to move off of, so where we are right now is we're tallying up all the numbers and we're looking at everything. And then we would then work into creating master schedule at some point for next year. We'll be doing that. December 22nd, we had our annual alumni day. We had 75 alumni for 47 colleges and about 250 of our seniors and some juniors attend as well. And such a great day to see the students come back. They're excited to come back. Everybody was festive. It was right before the holidays, so everyone was excited. And not all the students from the colleges were literally just coming back like within a day or two. So they were really excited to see everybody, but also talk about their experiences of their first semester in college that our seniors got to be able to listen to and ask questions. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention today's a very special week. It's National School Counseling Week, and where we honor and we celebrate our amazing department. What we're doing for this week, and it's bringing in the students and working with the students and the faculty. We have announcements, we have posters hung up across the school. The guidance counselors for a couple of lunch periods on rotating periods for 2 days are in lunch periods where students are coming up asking questions and stuff like that. It's just a great way to kind of kick off National School Counseling Week, but also have our counselors engaging with our students. A couple of things. Of updates of what's to come. Tomorrow night, February, we have our grade 10 parent workshop. That will be at 7 p.m. We have posted emails have gone out. More will go out about that. If you're a grade 10 parent, you would go to your guidance counselor's location, as I described in the beginning with the college planning workshop for the juniors. If you're a grade 10 parent, you go through the you come to the school at 7 o'clock. Another email is going to go out, and then each guidance counselor is in a room location. You go in, the counselor does a presentation on what to expect, junior year timeline, really good preparation planning. So that's tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. That's at the high school as well. So we also, what we're working on, and I don't want to go over too much of this because Ms. Krepitz and Ms. Say will be like, Chris, please stop because we're talking about this. So we are in the process of our utilizing Naviance. So I'm going to keep it at that, where it's the AchieveWorks personality, 9th graders, and the 10th graders this week in the career clusters, which we're doing. But that's all I'm going to say because that's what they're going to review and go over. But lastly, before I hand the program over to them, I really would like to thank you for such the impressive turnouts that we have, for the support. I love the fact that these are they're great because we get the tapes and then we put them out. And then parents and students have the opportunity to watch them if you can't make it, where we didn't have that opportunity in the past. So, and they get a lot of streams. I'm very proud of the streams they get. So people are watching, but it's important to watch because it provides information that maybe you missed if you were live, but also if you obviously couldn't attend. So that's also very, 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 very helpful. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our two guidance counselors who are going to present Naviance, Ms. Krepitz and Ms. Say. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Can everyone see my screen? Just want to make sure. Am I still muted?
You're not muted.
Okay. Can we see
the screen yet?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. So I just want to make sure everyone can see this, that we're good. So welcome. Good morning, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us. I'm Jessica Krepitz, and I'm here with Jennifer Saya. We're both parents, just like all of you, and we know how overwhelming the prospect of career and college planning can be for our children. So today our goal is to show you all how Naviance can help organize everything and make this process a little less stressful, both for you and for your children. So, okay. Okay. All right. So this is kind of our overview. So I'm going to, today we're going to walk you through all the main parts of Naviance, from personality and career assessments all the way through college applications. Naviance is meant to grow with students, not just to be used as a tool in their senior year when they're applying to college. Our goal and hope is that Naviance will support students throughout their high school experience as their interests and goals change. So you can see all the different things that we do use Naviance for. Okay. So this is the home page. This is the first screen that students see when they log on. It's kind of like the command center. And everything students need is right here. You can see up here the careers, college tools, about me, and even here there's kind of like a path when you can actually select a path that you might be interested in, and it gives you recommendations based on that. Starting in freshman year, counselors meet with we meet with our students in groups to walk the students through various activities Naviance has to offer. But keep in mind, Naviance is not just for students. Parents also have the opportunity to create their own Naviance accounts, which they can utilize and explore from. However, we really do encourage, parents and students to sit down together once in a while to explore Naviance and all the great features that it has to offer. I know that can, sometimes be an overwhelming prospect, but there really is good information to be garnered from Naviance. So if you can manage that once in a while, I do think it would be beneficial both for you and for the students. Okay. All right, so this is AchieveWorks Personality is one of our first tools that students usually complete as ninth graders. It's a personality assessment that helps students to understand how they learn and work best. There are no right or wrong answers, but it only works if students are honest and actually give the assessment the attention it requires. The assessment is supposed to identify students' personality types by asking them to choose scenarios that best represent how they behave in real life situations. We hope that this will reveal the student's true personality and provide tips to achieve success by clarifying career options, teaching students methods that best work for them to make completing homework and studying for exams easier, and to help students understand others and help others best understand them. That's kind of the goal. And then the results, once students finish the assessment, they get a detailed breakdown of their personality style, as you can see here. And this can help point them toward careers, majors, or even learning environments that fit them best. So some students find the results to be accurate and some find them not as much. And there are different ways to tailor the results towards educational goals and other factors. However, we do like to stress that these results should be used more for programming purposes than anything else. Syosset High School students are fortunate in that there are so many elective options available to them. So if their results on this indicate that they might enjoy working with kids or in architecture or in business or automotive technology, we have classes to expose students to these areas. So as we are in the programming portion of this year, we hope that students will use these results to explore areas that their interest that they may have never considered previously. The advantage of that is twofold, because not only can students assess if a certain path is suited or not suited to them, but they can also figure that out well before college and graduation from high school. Okay. And so then the next step, when they're sophomores, we have students take the Career Interest Profiler. This is a 15 to 20 minute online assessment that helps students identify potential careers based on personal interests and personality type, and matches user responses to the U.S. Department of Labor data, providing a personalized list of career suggestions ranked by compatibility. The 60-question assessment measures interests across 6 areas: realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, and conventional. Sounds like a lot, but what they do is they narrow it down. And so this, you can see here, everyone gets a get a 4-letter code based on their top traits. And then, that summarizes their personality traits and suggests relevant careers or career clusters that match those traits. Students then can explore the career clusters and find detailed information on each suggested career, including job descriptions, required skills and education, salary information across the US, and projected growth. Students can also then favorite careers, as you can see down here with this little heart. They can add that, and it will always be part of their Naviance profile for future exploration and help narrow down post-secondary planning. Again, our hope is that students will use this information to guide their programming choices when it comes to electives or extracurricular activities and even experiences outside of school. So I'm now going to turn the presentation over to Jennifer Saya, who's going to be continuing with college search, which is another great tool that Naviance offers.
Yes, thanks, Jess. Hi, everybody. I'm Jenny Saya. Thanks for being here this morning. The second half of this presentation will focus on our juniors and seniors and what's available to them and how we work with them through the college search and college application process. So the screen you see in front of you here is conducting a college search. You'll see up top, there is a handful of factors and variables that students and their families can choose from and select when it comes to creating a college search. So I've been using this program for 17 years, and I have found that when you make your search too refined or too broad, the results are either way too small or way too large. So it's really about finding that sweet spot and working with all the variables and factors that they're provided here to elicit the results you're looking for. And then you sift through, maybe a few dozen colleges based on the criteria that you input, and you could further on your research from there. So it's a really great resource. I have used this one-on-one with students on a whim, their junior and senior year, or more formally during junior planning meetings. And of course, this is something that our parents and their students have access to at home at any point to utilize. So it's a great resource to tap into. And then the next slide, we have the college overview. So once you get the results from your college search, you'll be able to research each school one at a time. The interface in Naviance changes from year to year. That's okay, all good.
Going back.
Sorry. It's okay.
I always try to scroll it down, so okay.
All right, so college overview, yep. Naviance likes to change the interface every couple of years, so I think if you sign on to it now, it might look a little different, but the same idea still applies. A lot of data points and a lot of information to be had here, such as costs, scholarships, graduation rate, acceptance rate, deadlines, which are super important. Then there's some really great video footage and photography of obviously activity on campus. And then the next two slides, don't go yet. The next two slides, I'll talk about the scattergram and the application history. Both of those tools are accessible in the college overview of each specific college. So what I would also recommend is, while this is, again, tremendous resource, and I'm probably going to say that more than I should this presentation, I would always encourage parents and their students and their families to still use the website of the actual college just to kind of cross-reference information, make sure it's accurate, because sometimes there could be some discrepancies. For the most part, it's pretty tried and true. But just in the essence of being thorough, I would always suggest, I know the example here we used was Adelphi. I would always tap into Adelphi's website as well, just as to cross-reference. So what I mentioned just a few moments ago, 2 tools that you can access in the college overview section is the scattergram, and then the next one we'll talk about in a minute. I love this visual. I think it provides students and their families with a very good idea as to where a student may land at a particular college. So the x-axis is the SAT score of students specifically from Syosset High School over the period of maybe 3 or 4 application cycles, so a few years here of data. And then the y-axis, you have the GPAs of students who apply to a particular college, again, over the course of a few years. And then, of course, we have the color-coded designations. The green check marks are students that were accepted. Red X's are students that were denied. And then you'll see some pepperings of purple, not so much in this graph, and purple are typically your waitlisted students and otherwise. The student who is actually completing this or viewing this rather in their account, they will be designated as a little blue icon, and you'll see exactly where they land on the graph. So really for any college, the goal is to be right around where the GPA and SAT meet. This happens to be a very friendly graph. Whatever college this is, they like us, and there's a lot of acceptances, which is great. It will vary from school to school. So I can rattle off schools off the top of my head that will not look as friendly. And again, what we want to make note of is that this is purely data. This is just GPA and SAT scores. We don't know anything else about these students other than the numbers. Obviously, the colleges will all tell you, and it is valid, that they review students in a holistic manner. So essays, letters of recommendation, extracurricular activities, all that is all taken into consideration. This, I always say, is just kind of a guiding light, a point of reference to just tap into, and then you go on from there. But again, I think it's a great way to tap in and understand where a student might stand at a particular school just based on data. So the next slide is, again, another way to gather some information based on Syosset's specific application history. So for instance, let's look at 2021, for example. So the second column over from the left. In 2021, 65 students applied to this specific college, 38 were accepted, 13 enrolled. So 38 students accepted out of 65 applied is a pretty good data point for us. And it's something that we should look into for this particular college. This college likes us. In fact, if I had to guess, maybe not. I don't think it would be the same school as the one prior. And again, this sort of data will vary from school to school. Just to spitball and use Binghamton for an example, I think 366 kids applied one year, and maybe over 100 students were accepted. So that graph will look different, as you vary with school to school. And then I think it's important to see these students that are enrolled as well, better known as the yield, I guess, and that's a specific high school yield. Again, just good information to understand and file away as students and their families continue on in the college research process. So the next slide is colleges I'm thinking about. So mind you, all of this, the past 4 slides we just reviewed, this all takes place throughout junior year. Right now, all the counselors are in the middle of their junior planning meetings. So a lot of us are showcasing all this information within the meetings themselves. And even though we focus on it in junior year, it doesn't mean that students can't tap into it their sophomore and freshman year. We're not telling them to do it because we don't want to, feed the frenzy. But they do have access to this more or less in their Naviance accounts. So just to kind of make note of that. Colleges I'm thinking about. As students go along and identify colleges that are of interest to them, there will be a little heart feature on each school in the college overview section. And when a student clicks on that heart, the school will populate into the list of colleges I'm thinking about. So this is really just an area in Naviance where students can keep an informal, organized list of colleges that they are interested in. Nothing formal, purely for organizational purposes. And again, it's just a really nice resource for them to keep in a neat fashion. And there's a lot of information here too. So for instance, if you look at the screen here, Boston College, actually all the colleges on this list, there's a little icon there with a computer and a CA in the middle. That means that all those colleges will use the common application for students to apply to. And then if you move further over to the right, you'll see a drop-down menu for deadlines. The deadlines are ever an important part of the process. So we really want our students to make sure that they are aware of all the deadlines for all the colleges they're applying to. Again, it's a matter of being thorough, organized, and this information is right here for them in a nice, compact way. So next slide is college visit information. So during the fall, so you'll see September through November-ish, dozens of colleges will specifically visit Syosset High School. So this is different from a college fair. It's actually a really tremendous way for our own specific Syosset kids to get FaceTime with admissions reps at these particular colleges. And usually, almost always, the reps who come here during this time frame are the reps who specifically oversee Syosset High School. So obviously, a school like Penn State tends to get a bigger draw. So students might be in the auditorium, they might be in a guidance resource center, they might be down in a little theater. We find the space for the students and the admission rep to meet. It's an intimate setting. They get to ask specific questions, and it's a very unique opportunity for them that we really encourage them to take advantage of. But how Naviance kind of plays in here is that all of these college visits are listed, and then students will have to sign up for that college visit through Naviance. So again, just a way to keep things organized and keep students informed of what's available to them. And I need to note, actually, excuse me, these college visits are specifically for our seniors almost always. Sometimes juniors can enter. It all depends on the school and the time of the year usually. But for the most part, they're meetings that are primarily for our seniors. Next slide, colleges I'm applying to. So now we're out of junior year and now we're in senior year. And now that list of colleges I'm thinking about becomes more formal. So the colleges I'm applying to is what a student's teachers and their counselor will access and utilize when it comes time for the counselor and teachers to submit the materials through Naviance to the colleges students are applying to. So I'll backtrack a little bit, sorry. The colleges are listed in this section of Naviance by way of Common App. So eventually our seniors will create their Common App account, and the Common App account will match with the student's Naviance account. And when that takes place, the colleges that are listed in a student's Common App account are populated into this specific section of Naviance, colleges I'm applying to. And then we're able to see this on our end. Obviously, students see it on their end. And same idea with the colleges I'm thinking about. We have all those deadlines, the application type that the college is using. So again, all that information is still there, but now this is the area of Naviance that we tap into to then go ahead and submit official materials throughout the fall. And then letters of recommendation. So this is also a multi-step process. Before I get to this screen here, when we're having our junior planning meetings right now, and we are advising our students to identify two classroom teachers in our building to write their formal letters of recommendation. So these formal letters of recommendation are eventually uploaded into Naviance and then submitted electronically again through Naviance by our students' teachers. So first we encourage that face-to-face conversation, be polite, be kind, and have that moment with your teacher. But then when we get into more of the late spring, summer, early fall timeframe, we advise our students that they have to submit an electronic request through Naviance to those teachers they already spoke with. And then on the teachers' end, because the teachers have their own account as well, they'll see, you know, student X come up on their account, and they're made aware of that student's deadlines and the colleges they're applying to, and they have to get these letters out in a timely fashion. Also, I know it's a little small here, but I'll just make note of it. Naviance will indicate how many letters of recommendation a particular college is looking for. So a school like Binghamton and just Ohio State off the top of my head, and even Indiana is on here, they only want one letter of recommendation versus a school like Clemson or College of Charleston that will take 2 or more. So Charleston is taking 2, Clemson is taking 3. What happens here is that the student really has to be astute and identify the specific teacher that he or she wants sending that one letter or those 2 letters to the colleges they are applying to. And, you know, we don't have to worry about that all too much right now. I just wanted to make note of it and point out other ways that Naviance is very thorough in what they're able to provide our students. So that's the overall letter of recommendation piece. And then lastly, what you're seeing here is the view of the counselor. So eDocs, you'll hear this term a lot as you get up into junior and senior year, and electronic submissions is essentially what eDocs stands for. But the screen is the counselor screen. So you have all the list of colleges on the left-hand column there. And then over in the right-hand column are the materials that have been uploaded and submitted. If you look up at the tippy top where it says documents submitted to all Common Apps, and you move over to the right, the school report and the counselor rec, those are the materials that we in our department are responsible for. So the school report will be a copy of our school profile along with our seniors transcript. That compiles the school report. And then obviously our counselor recommendation. So you can see this student, all those materials have been submitted. We're still waiting on the mid-year report. If I had to guess when this was taken, obviously it was before February of whatever year, because currently right now, as of February 4th, we are in the throes of sending out our mid-year reports to all of the colleges our seniors have applied to through Naviance. And then if you go further down, you'll see Clemson with the 3 letters recommendation, Indiana and Ohio with the 1. Penn State will take actually 4. I don't know if you can see that there, but we have 3 letters here as well. And all those letters have been submitted in a timely fashion. So again, this is just a way to keep things organized for us as counselors to make sure that we're double checking submission status and what's been uploaded. And we were always cross-referencing and communicating with our students to make sure that they are on task as well. So Naviance is quite the evolution. And I really think the rubber meets the road junior and senior year. I think what we offer freshman and sophomore year is great, and it all ties in somehow, but really they'll be accessing Naviance in their upper grades. So I think that was the last slide, right, Jess? Okay. So I haven't had the.
Thank you.
Yep.
One thing I want to add is what they did here, and I answered a bunch of things in the chat, and a lot of the stuff that I answered in the chat will be discussed at the junior planning meetings. They're very like in the weeds logistics stuff that you'll hear about at junior planning meetings, our senior meetings, our college application workshop senior year. There's a lot of stuff that we'll go over with this. But what I want to end with before we sign off here is, and they did such a nice job of describing what Naviance does and how we build it from 9th to 12th grade. 9th grade, getting it started with Achieve Works, with getting their learning style and interests, then building it to 10th grade. With the career clusters, and then start dabbling with college searches. Then 11th grade, we're in the college search in the throes of the junior planning meetings. And then 12th grade, how we utilize it moving forward to submit transcripts and school profiles along with the students' application filled out on Common App. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, please contact your guidance counselor individually. If you have not, and again, I'm going to plug again, if you have not set up your junior planning meeting as a junior, please do so. Please contact your guidance counselor.